There are moments in your life when guidance from heaven is no longer gentle like a whisper, but becomes a clear call that touches straight into the deepest hidden place within you. Today, that word comes to you with solemnity, yet with great tenderness. Sit down, beloved child, not because darkness is approaching, not because there is some disaster that should make you tremble, and not because I want you to prepare for sorrowful news. I tell you to sit down because what is moving toward you is greater than the old framework you once used to understand yourself. There are blessings that cannot be received in a state of haste. There are shifts that cannot enter a heart still standing between anxiety, self-doubt, and the small images the past once placed upon you. You did not stop before this word by accident. I want you to hear that with complete peace. The one who arranged the rhythm of the stars, who taught the birds to know their direction through changing seasons, who placed you at the right point in this moment of history, is the same one, drawing your attention here. Nothing in this moment is disconnected. Not one of your breaths is outside the care of heaven. What you are reading is not merely a few beautiful sentences meant to soothe your heart for a little while, but a word of awakening sent at the right time, when something inside you has become tired enough to stop resisting and soft enough to listen. So sit down, not as one who has failed, but as one who is about to receive something beyond the strength of self-management. Let your shoulders lower. Let the thoughts that are rushing become still. Stop trying to measure what God is doing with the old measures. You once grew used to having to stand strong alone, to preparing yourself for disappointment, to making your hopes smaller so that if good did not come, you would hurt less. But I tell you that this season is not built upon your fear. What is coming does not need you to strain in control in order to become real. It needs you to become still enough to recognize, humble enough to receive, and trusting enough not to run ahead of heaven's arrangement. Beloved child, the greatness of what is about to open is not meant to overwhelm you, but to bring you out of the old garment of limitation. What you once thought was the whole of your life was only a small part of the map. There are doors that have been kept hidden until you were mature enough not to use them for self-proving, but for light, healing, and service. Sit down in peace, because I am standing beside you as a guardian. Receive this word as a gentle sign that you have not been forgotten. What has been arranged for you has begun to move. And this time, you do not need to stand in yesterday's small version of yourself to try to understand a blessing that belongs to tomorrow. I am speaking to you, the chosen one who has silently carried the weight of a journey longer than what others can see. Beloved child, I know you have walked through seasons where the scenery before your eyes did not seem to be on your side. Seasons where every outward proof seemed silent. Every door seemed closed, and everything you hoped for refused to take shape. Yet, even so, you continued to walk. You did not walk because everything was easy, but because there was a sacred prompting within you that would not allow you to give up. There were days when you had no explanation except faith. No one patting your shoulder. No one witnessing your quiet choice. And yet, you still chose to stand on the side of light. I want you to understand this clearly. You are not a chosen one, wasting away while waiting for some future day to become valuable. You have already been seen, already been called by name, already been preserved through every stretch of road that seemed to be walked by you alone. What is happening is not meaningless delay, but hidden preparation for a turning point so great that you need to sit down in peace and let it sink through every layer of your thoughts. For there are things God does that do not come like a sudden noise, but like an authoritative shift, changing the direction of your life from within before revealing it outwardly. And this word is not for the noisy crowd that only seeks something strange to hear and then pass by. I am speaking to you, the one who has sensed for weeks, months, or perhaps years that something very great is being prepared just beyond your sight. You cannot point to it with your finger, cannot present it with concrete evidence, and cannot use your current circumstances to explain why that feeling keeps remaining. But you know, in a deep and quiet way, that something is being arranged. There is an arrangement beyond what you can control, a preparation that required you to stand exactly where you stood, learn exactly what you learned, and endure exactly the seasons you once thought you could not survive. So do not quickly call that feeling imagination, and do not let those who do not understand your journey cause you to doubt the guidance God has placed within you. Not every sacred forewarning appears immediately in the form of clear proof. Sometimes it comes as a quiet knowing, as a warmth that keeps you from despair, as a small light that does not go out even when circumstances continually cast shadows over you. That feeling did not come to make you proud, but to keep you awake. It did not come to make you rush, but to prepare your heart for what is drawing near. Today, I walk with you in tenderness, but also with solemnity, so you may understand that what is being set in motion is not only related to the outcome you have been hoping for, but also to the person you are becoming in the hand of God. The coming turning point will not only change what is around you, it will confirm what has been secretly refined within you. The days you thought were delays have actually made you deeper. The rooms no one saw became the places where your faith was purified. The tears no one counted have been kept by heaven as evidence of endurance. Slow your breathing, keep your heart soft, and receive this word with peace. Something great is drawing near. Not because you forced it to happen, but because the appointed time has begun to move according to the order of God. This message has been placed specifically before you, not as a random call for anyone who happens to pass by, but as a gentle touch sent to the exact place where you are standing in this season. I want you to listen slowly and not rush past it, because every word spoken here carries a tender weight, a hidden confirmation, and enough light for you to look back at the quiet movements you have sensed for a long time, but have not yet been able to name. There are words that do not come to stir you into unrest, but to help you understand that what you have been feeling is not confusion, not a passing emotion, and not imagination building hope for itself. It is a very soft, very deep, very sacred foretelling, like a distant bell sounding before dawn truly touches the horizon. The first sign, beloved child, is that for some time recently, you have carried within you the feeling that something is preparing to change. It is not as clear as a plan written on paper, not as specific as an appointment already scheduled, and not as easy to explain as a prayer you only lifted up a few days ago. It is deeper than every outward reason. It is like a quiet knowing that comes before words, a gentle vibration in the most hidden place within you, making you know that things are no longer standing still as they appear on the surface. Though the room you walk into still looks the same, your daily work still repeats as before, and the familiar roads have not changed very much. Within you, there is a movement beginning to rise, And because the surface of life has not looked very different, you have wondered whether you might be sensing wrongly. You looked around and saw that everything still seemed the same as in the months before. Doors had not yet opened. Answers had not yet come. Circumstances had not yet clearly shifted. But I tell you that not every change begins with a loud sound. There are seasons that are set in motion in silence. There are shifts that begin in the deeper layers before they appear before your eyes. There are things heaven first sows into your awareness, and only afterward allows you to see their outer form. Therefore, do not treat that feeling as meaningless simply because you cannot yet explain it completely in words. I want you to understand that this sensitivity has not come to make you anxious, but to prepare you. When you feel that something is drawing near, it does not necessarily mean you must run, tell everyone, or force circumstances to open according to your will. Sometimes what you need to do is simply keep your heart pure, keep your mind at peace, and allow guidance to come step by step. You do not need to understand the entire signal from the beginning in order to believe that it is real. Just as the first drop of rain is not the whole rainstorm, but it is enough to announce that the sky has begun to change. So, be gentle with yourself. What you are sensing is not illusion, nor is it impatience. It is heaven's touch upon your capacity to discern, a forewarning that things are being arranged even though your eyes cannot yet see them. Walk slowly. Listen deeply. Keep your peace. And do not despise the small, sacred movements being placed within you. I am near you in this season of movement, not allowing you to go astray, not allowing you to confuse what is true with noise, and not allowing you to miss the hidden preparation that is opening the way for what is about to appear. The hardest thing to accept, my child, is that there are things taken from your life not to make you smaller, but to enlarge the ground for a greater receiving that is drawing near. I know the past stage has not been gentle for you. There were connections that changed when you were not ready to let go. Doors that seemed to close, just as you had gathered enough courage to step forward. And sources of support that ran dry precisely when you thought you needed them most. When those things happened, you wondered whether you had done something wrong, whether heaven had become silent before your confusion, whether those losses were a sign that you had been left behind. But I want you to hear clearly, not every ending is exclusion, and not everything that leaves your hand is punishment. There are seasons when God clears before He fills. He removes not because He wants you empty, but because certain old things are not strong enough to carry the weight of the new chapter. What you once called support may have been a frame too narrow for what He is preparing. A relationship may have been familiar, but if it kept you in fear, it cannot go with you into a more peaceful land. An opportunity may once have seemed attractive, but if it caused you to lose your inner purity, it cannot become the foundation for the mission entrusted to you. A resource may once have helped you get through the day, but if it made you depend on what is temporary instead of trusting a higher guidance, then its closing is not disaster, but freedom covered in the form of loss. Therefore, do not look only at what has left and conclude that you are being hurt for no reason. I see those empty places, and I also see what is being prepared to fill them in a way that is purer, more enduring, and more aligned with the person you are becoming. There are things that, if they stayed, would crowd the place meant for a new blessing. There are voices that, if they remained near, would cause you to doubt the step God is illuminating. There are attachments that, if not loosened, would turn expansion into a burden. Therefore, what is taken away right before a season of great receiving is not evidence of abandonment. It is a sign that the ground is being cleansed. Old stones are being moved, and weak roots are being pulled out so that something nobler can take root deeply. Let your heart soften. Beloved child, what cannot walk with you into the new chapter must remain behind. Not because you have lost value, but because what is coming requires a pure, steady space prepared by the loving hand of the Most High. You once brought into the light something that was not yet ready. A vision growing in silence. A plan you sensed was precious. A breakthrough you believed was drawing near. And that very haste weakened what had been sown in hiddenness before it could take root. I know you did not speak from pride. You spoke because you were joyful, because you needed someone to listen, because you wanted someone to confirm that what you were sensing was real. In your heart, that thing had once been strong, bright, and certain. It caused you to wake with hope, to pray with faith, to look at the future with different eyes. But when you placed it before others too soon, when you opened its covering before it had become steady enough, a movement changed the atmosphere around it. Beloved child, I am not telling you to live closed off or to suspect everyone you love. I am teaching you to discern between sharing in the right season and revealing too soon. There are things given to you not to be announced immediately, but to be cherished in a hidden place until they have a clear form, a firm foundation, and the endurance to withstand words, glances, doubts, and even admiration from others. For light does not only reveal beauty, light also tests the endurance of what is still tender. A fruit that is not yet ripe will not become sweeter just because it is seen. A young shoot pulled out of the soil to prove that it is growing may die before it ever has time to put out leaves. So, when something that was once strong in private suddenly becomes small after being spoken aloud, it is not always because the listener had evil intentions. Many times, the issue is timing. There are people who love you but do not understand enough about what you are carrying. There are people who rejoice with you but do not have the capacity to guard the sacredness of what is still being formed. There are people who ask a very ordinary question. Yet, that question plants wavering inside you. There are glances that do not destroy what you carry, but cause you to begin seeing it through doubt. And when doubt enters too early, the young shoot can bend downward before it learns how to rise. From now on, learn silence not as a cold wall, but as a guarded garden. What is precious does not need to be proved immediately in order to be real. What heaven has sown does not need human applause in order to have value. Let your plan grow further in discipline. Let your vision be strengthened by quiet action. Let the breakthrough be formed in peace before you speak of it with joy. When the roots are deep, the light will not make it wither. When the foundation is firm, the words of others will not shake it. And when the right time comes, you will not need to pull that thing out to be believed. The result itself will rise and testify to the hidden preparation I have guarded with you. What is happening in your prayer time is not only found in the words you speak, but also in the silence you often avoid. My beloved child, you come before God with many things stored in your heart. You present, you plead, you declare, You explain each pain, each desire, and each reason why you need him to intervene. I see that sincerity in you, and I do not take lightly a single word you have spoken in tears. But there is something I want you to recognize more gently. God does not need you to report every detail as though he can only act when you speak clearly enough, long enough, and strongly enough. He has seen the things you did not have time to name, heard even the sighs you did not know how to turn into words, and understood the deepest layers within you before you understood yourself. So when you feel unsettled by silence in prayer, that is not your failure, but a door opening into maturity. Perhaps 7 minutes without speaking makes you uncomfortable, as though you are wasting a precious moment. Perhaps not asking, not explaining, not arranging a list of things that need to be solved makes you feel that you are not devoted enough. You once thought that a more faithful person would have to speak more, ask more, express more. But my child, faithfulness is not always measured by the length of a prayer. There are times when faith is expressed most deeply, not through voice, but through sitting still before the one who already knows everything and not trying to control the moment with your worry. That discomfort is the sign. Beloved child, it shows you that there is still a part within you that believes if you stop speaking, something important will be missed if you do not repeat it. God will forget if you do not explain it. He will misunderstand. But he is not like the human beings who once made you protect yourself with words. He does not need you to prove that your pain is real, does not need you to persuade him that you are worthy of support, does not require you to present everything perfectly before you can receive mercy. What he is waiting for is not your next sentence, but a stillness deep enough for you to stop holding everything up by your own strength. Let your prayer be not only the place where you speak to God, but also the place where you learn to rest in his presence. When you sit in silence, you are not leaving time empty, you are handing back control. When you ask for nothing, it does not mean you lack faith. You are allowing faith to stand still without needing to decorate it with words. When you pause, heaven is not silent toward you. Perhaps in that very moment, peace is being placed into the most chaotic places inside you. I am teaching you to pray not as one who must struggle to make yourself heard, but as a child who was loved before opening your mouth. Enter that silence gently, because that place is not empty, it is full of care, full of light, full of the quiet hand of God rearranging you from within. Many voices have said what they wanted to say, but heaven has heard everything clearly and has not misunderstood you. I know someone spoke about your motives as though they could see through everything happening inside you. Someone doubted your sincerity. Someone took only one small piece of your story and raised it up as the whole truth. That hurt you, because being misunderstood by people you once trusted is not like a passing scratch. It is like a quiet cut, deep and lingering, making you want to rise immediately, to explain, to put every detail back into its proper place, to show them what they missed when they rushed to draw conclusions about you. But beloved child, precisely in the moment when you thought you had to speak in order to save your honor, a gentle hand held you back. Something stopped your words before they turned into an argument. A quiet pull drew you out of the place where emotion could make you lose your peace. Do not call that weakness, and do not call it fear. I tell you, it is protection. The Most High does not ask you to be silent because you have nothing to say, nor does He ask you to step back because your truth has no value. He keeps you still because there are things He has already begun to do in a place you cannot see. And if you rush in to defend yourself through anxiety, you may unintentionally interrupt the timing being arranged for you. You need to distinguish clearly between silence born from fear and silence upheld by faith. Silence from fear will make you shrink back. Tremble. Avoid the light, and let others define you. But silence in faith will make you stand firm. Observe. Keep your dignity, and no longer need to prove your value before those who only want to hear what they have already decided to believe. That silence is not empty, weak, or motionless. It is a guarded place. It is a sacred space where you learn to let the Most High speak through results, through truth revealed at the right time, through doors opened without you having to beg anyone to understand you. So, when you feel pushed to answer, correct, or justify yourself, stop and ask your heart, is this word coming from peace, or from pain trying to seize control? Not every reply brings freedom, and not every argument is worthy of your presence. There are rooms that only want to pull you back into the old cycle so you will exhaust yourself, while heaven is inviting you to step out with gentleness and firmness. I am near you in that silence. I do not leave you alone before the voices of gossip. I am teaching you a power higher than reaction, the power of waiting, the power of trust, the power of not letting a hurried ego take possession of your voice. Let them say what they want to say. What has been placed in the light cannot be falsely narrated by darkness forever. Before you go farther, I need you to stay long enough, not only to recognize your wound, but also to allow it to be touched by healing light. Beloved child, there are things that, when named, can awaken you. But naming them is not yet enough to make you free. A pain that is pointed out may make you sigh because you finally understand why you are tired. But if you leave at that moment, you will carry awareness without a path of restoration. Therefore, I place my hand upon the haste within you and gently say, slow down. Stay here. Because what comes next is not only to explain, but to loosen what has silently kept you in the same pattern for too long. I will lead you to look at this from many deeper layers, so you no longer judge yourself with simple condemnation. You will see how your behavior reacts before pain, how your emotions are pulled back to old places, and how the sacred depth within you longed to be protected, but was opened many times before those who did not know how to cherish it. When you understand these three dimensions well enough, you will no longer call yourself weak, nor will you see the urge to tell, explain, and share everything as something random. You will begin to see that a trace was formed in you very early, perhaps from the years when you were very small, when a child's heart learned that to be seen, it had to speak a great deal, and to be loved, it had to prove that what it felt was real. But I do not bring you back to the past to drown you there. I bring you back so you can recognize where the first knot was tied. And from there, I help you untie it with tenderness. There are desires that did not begin from a lack of wisdom, but from a child who once needed to be heard. There are habits that were not born from failure, but from the need to be safe. When you see this, your heart will soften toward yourself, and that is where healing can begin. I will also place before you an ancient language, a small but weighty key connected to the image of Mary, who kept what was entrusted to her in sacred silence. You will understand that keeping something hidden is not hiding out of fear, but protecting what is precious from being touched too early. Then I will lead you through a pattern of 4 doors, not as a vague idea, but as a clear practice you can begin tonight. What should be spoken? What needs to be kept? Who is allowed to enter? And when the time is truly peaceful, after that, you will be shown the reverent paths the Father has prepared to support what He has entrusted to you. Because He never asks you to be silent and then abandons you alone. In that silence, He always prepares support, wisdom, and shelter for what He is guarding within you. So stay until the final part, where the seal is placed down like a gentle confirmation. This whole journey is not meant to force you to change through fear, but is a pure remedy prepared to bring you back to the peace, dignity, and steadiness you were destined to enter. What happened to you is not a flaw in your nature, nor proof that you lack discipline. It is a light, sensitive place within you that should have been guarded. But no one gently taught you how to protect it. Beloved child, I want you to hear this with peace. You are not broken because you spoke too soon. And you have not failed because you opened your heart many times before the appointed moment had ripened. There are currents within you that are very delicate, very sacred, and easily stirred by comments, glances, doubt, or the reactions of others. If, from your earliest years, no one ever taught you how to place a guardian before the doorway of your words, then wind entering the hidden place is not something that makes you worthy of condemnation. But from tonight onward, you will no longer live like a house thrown open to every wind. I stand beside you, not to punish, but to give you a gentle yet decisive reshaping. Your tongue once became the final door through which fear could pass. Because when there was unrest inside you, words often ran out before wisdom could place a hand upon your shoulder. Sometimes you spoke not because you were truly guided to speak, but because silence made you feel as though you were being erased. Sometimes you looked for a reaction from others, not because you did not know that what you carried was real, but because the forgotten part within you still longed to hear someone say that you were not wrong, not too sensitive, not imagining everything. I understand that. I saw the years when you learned to measure your value through the faces, tones, and approval of others. But my child, from now on, what was once a wound will be transformed into a place of maturity. It was not your fault that you were not taught. But once light has shone upon that pattern, you no longer need to hand your life over to the old reflex. I will give you the slowing down you need. I will teach you to keep what is precious in quietness until it is strong enough. I will help you recognize which moment is sharing in peace and which moment is only the thirst for validation wearing the garment of urgency. You will learn to let your words no longer be a bridge begging for love, but a pure stream flowing from steadiness.